Hi, I'm Casey, and one of the advantages of having a child right now that I found was that it would add meaning to my life. I learned in one of my philosophy classes freshman year that a study showed that although parents' happiness levels decreased when they had a child, their meaning and purpose for life increased. So I think it would give me a lot more meaning to my life. A second advantage is that I'm in a committed relationship, and 39% of babies are born to single mothers. So it would be a relief not to be a single mother having to raise a child on my own. A third advantage would be that I'm younger, so I will have a lot more energy to keep up with my child and play with him or her. The fourth advantage is that at a younger age, I also have less risk than older people do who are trying to have a baby. For example, I would have less of a risk for chromosomal disorder. A fifth advantage is that it forces a person to be more mature and selfless. So obviously right now I'm 19, so I am more concerned about my own personal success than others at the moment as I'm in college. So if I had a child, I would be more selfless and mature and I'd grow as a person overall. The sixth advantage is that I have a support system. So, something that's really important while raising a baby is to have people around you who are going to support you and help you out when you need that help. And both my parents have pretty flexible schedules, so they would be able to help me when I needed help with my child. I also was nervous about being physically immature, that I wouldn't be physically old enough to have a child, but once you're 15, or whenever you start and begin puberty, then your body is physically ready so to have a child, so it's not linked to any prenatal problems by having a child this young. And then I also found it interesting in the book that it said good relationships with your own parents will most likely develop a positive picture of yourself as a parent during pregnancy. So I have a really good relationship with my parents, so I would hopefully see myself as a good parent, and then that would then be a positive experience for my child if I'm more confident in my parenting. I also think it would be amazing to love something you created, like love it so much. And the book goes really in depth from conception to birth and how everything that you take into your body or you're around can affect your child. So being responsible for those 9 months to make sure your baby develops healthy would make you just love it so much more. So it would be a great experience for that way. And then my last reason for it being an advantage is that I would get to extend my small family. My family is really small, so to get to extend my family while everyone is still around, I think would be really great. Um, my disadvantages for having a child would be obviously financial stress. In the textbook, it says that it costs $210,000 from birth to age 18 to raise a child, and that doesn't even include um, education past high school, so your undergraduate degree and then master's degree if they continue their education. So it would be a lot of added financial stress, especially since I just work a part time job. I also don't have my own place to raise a child, so I would have to live with my parents still, and that would add a lot of stress to them, which would then add stress to me. I think it would also put a lot of pressure on a relationship that I'm currently in because to be young parents, that's a lot of pressure to put on two young people in a relationship. Another reason is judgment from society. The textbook talks about why people have been having children later in life is because not only do they have ways of preventing pregnancy now, but it's because society is more judgmental on not being married and being too young to have a child. So having that judgment from society would be probably really hard. I would also most likely experience emotional stress from trying to balance my schoolwork, working my part time job, and having a baby. And the effects of emotional stress can be really hard on pregnancy, which includes like you can have miscarriage, prematurity, low birth weight, respiratory issues. So that emotional stress could really affect my pregnancy. And then another reason is that my education is not complete and my career is not developed yet. So I would have to put that on the back burner for a while, probably, if I was pregnant and having a child. I would also feel like I'm missing out on a lot of the college experience. I'm going to be a junior next year, so if I were to be pregnant, I would miss out still on a lot of events probably on campus. I'm in a sorority, so sorority life I'd probably miss out a lot on, and I would just feel like regretful for missing those opportunities and experiences. I would also feel like I would worry over if I'm parenting my child wrong since I'm so inexperienced, that older people might have seen how their family and friends have parented children around them. So for me, I don't have that experience. I don't have any younger siblings, so I never saw my mom parent anyone besides me and my sister. But my sister's older, so I never got to see how a younger child would be parented. I would also have a fear of passing down an illness to a child. Breast cancer runs in my family, so that would be scary passing it down. And then I also personally have asthma, so that would be a fear of passing that down to my child. And then my last disadvantage would be ruining your body at 19. I obviously want to feel confident in my own skin, and not that women who are pregnant or have children don't. But breastfeeding, tearing, and stretch marks all put a lot of stress on your body. So that would probably be a negative experience for me at the age of 19. Yeah, those are my advantages and disadvantages.